You said that one of the goals of the search team is that everybody that walks into the facility walks out safe. What do you mean exactly by that?
That's your end-of-day product. There's people that, carpenters, at the end of the day, they can see that they built this house, Mason built that wall. That's not the job we're in. The only end product we have is that everybody started your shift, walks out with you at the end of your shift, period. And that's accomplished through teamwork. You may not like the guy that's beside you, but he's wearing that uniform and you're going to cover his back.
Thank you, officer.
Any questions from us?
We have no questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Officer Stewart. First.
Morning. Morning.
You can try it, it doesn't work.
Okay. We good now? Okay,
Just project.
all right, I got a loud enough voice. Can you hear me?
Officer Stewart. When did you start with the Department of Corrections?
January 3rd, 1993.
Did you have any military experience prior to that?
Yes, I did.
What was that?
6 years in the Army National Guard.
Prior to starting with DOC in 1994, did you have any other employment?
Yes, I was machinist at J. Reinhardt, Mount Home.
Okay. How long were you a machinist?
Approximately 13 years.
Why did you decide no longer to work as a machinist and go into the Department of Corrections?
We did a lot of defense work, and there was a change of presidents, and in the change of presidents, a lot of defense budgeting was cut. So, you know, I kind of seen the writing on the wall and said, I need a career change. And my brother-in-law worked as a corrections officer. Talking to him, he seemed like, you know, he's doing a very good job. It was actually kind of hard to get it at that time. The big joke, somebody had to die to actually get the job. And, you know, talking to him and the benefits and, you know, salary, and I thought it was a good career move. I took the civil service test, and SCI Monoy opened up. Hello. Hello.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So you applied for the Department of Corrections, and Jason talked a little bit about the process. How do you end up at SCI Monoy?
You have to take the civil service test, and by civil service standards, they will take the highest scores. And if you have military experience, you're allotted 10 points for your military service. So then they actually have to go down the list and take those scores, add in your military service. Then you go through an interview process, and you're either hired or you're not.
Okay. So one of your facilities that you chose as a preference was Monoy?
Yes.
And have you worked at Monoy since you started in 1994?
Yes, I have.
And what role have you, what duties have you performed over the years at Monoy?
Everything. I've done every duty there is to do as a corrections officer, starting on the outside perimeter. You know, the outside perimeter, you actually have to make sure your fence lines are secure. You actually have a shotgun, a revolver, which is, you know, mandated for everybody might have a little bit of a gun here and there. And, you know, literally pinches you all day. You're sitting, it's hot. It's just hard. It makes your job as a corrections officer very uncomfortable. It's hard. There's no other way to explain it.
Well, I mean, we respect your honesty in regard to the gun, but,
I'm not speaking for myself here now, come on.
So, now in all seriousness though,
Yes.
I mean, this is a piece of equipment that you're mandated to wear. In your experience, you've been there approximately 16 years, do you feel it provides you extra safety?
No, I don't.
And why do you say that?
Jason kind of alluded on it, that basically your target areas change. You know, they're going for the head. You're going to see testimony down the road where there's no documented instances where the vest has actually protected anybody. I haven't seen anywhere the vest has actually helped anybody.
Now, we heard about Huntington, let's talk about Monomoy. Is this a prototypical facility?
Yes, it is.
And just explain what that means.
Prototypicals were built around 1990s, the whole change in the structure. The department decided to build a jail that would house more inmates with less staff. And basically, it's more confined than Huntington. And bottom line is, you know, more inmates, less staff. That's
So
the objective.
So through architectural design, they would lower the staff levels.
Yes.
Now, is Monomoy a facility that's over capacity?
Yes, it is.
And what do they do at Monomoy? I mean, if the cell is designed for one individual or two individuals or three individuals, how do they fit more in?
We actually have, they used to be counselors' offices, and they put bunks in these offices. So you literally, in one office, may have 13, 16 inmates in an office. They also used to have, was a TV room where the officer would sit. The TV room was right behind the officer. And they put inmates in these rooms also. So you literally go around with inmates behind you, in front of you, all over the place. I mean, wherever they could find a spot in that housing unit, they would house an inmate.
So in this prototypical facility, where the architects took their time to design it so that there could be lower staffing levels, they're actually putting inmates in areas that weren't designed to house the inmates.
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me. Officer Bloom had mentioned that, you know, obviously Huntington is an old jail, or a dungeon, as he would call it. Your jail was a little bit more modern, obviously, built in the 90s. So I would take it you have air conditioning?
Well, it works. It's not in all the areas, but somewhat, if you want to call it air conditioning.
Okay, and I know we've heard about his experience with the vest and, you know, being in an old place with no air conditioning. I can understand that. That's got to be kind of different. Is it different for you people who are article, you know, prototypicals?
No, it's no different. I mean, literally, you still have showers running on the blocks. When the inmates are showering, you can imagine the steam doesn't go anywhere. So you're literally there in a steam bath, okay? You have to take the inmates to the yard. You know, the seasons, they don't change. It's still hot in the summer. So literally, no, there's no difference. It's hot is hot. It doesn't matter. Your body temperature is 97.6, okay? Just that alone, just elevated with that vest on.
Even in the winter?
It's still hot in the winter.
I can only imagine then what it's like in the kitchen.
We have food service instructors that are mandated to wear that vest in the kitchen. And they have nowhere to go, and there is no air conditioning there.
I doubt there's any windows either.
No.
let's talk about, Mountain Royal a little further. Are there blocks at Mountain Royal also?
Yes.
Okay. And are they designated like Huntington where it's A, B, C, D, et cetera?
Yeah, there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I, and J.
So take us to a block that you've experienced working to, be it A, B, be it F, wherever you're familiar with.
A through F are similar blocks. I've worked on F. F is designed as you walk into the block. It's basically a little open area, and then the blocks wing off. There's A pod and there's B pod. And the officer station is, pretty much as soon as you get in the door on both sides, there's one officer on each pod, and a sergeant that rows between each housing.
Okay.
How many people or how many inmates in a pod?
There's approximately 130 on each pod, with one officer.
So we're talking about F block. We got 2 wings pods, 130 in each pod. You got 2 CO1s and 1 CO2. Is that correct?
Yes, the two CO, when you say the two CO1s, they're never together. They can't be. One has to stay on one side, the other has to stay on the other side. So he's no help to him.
All right.
I mean, but they're all in their cells, so what's the matter?
Sean, no, they're not all in their cells. They're out all day long. It's a college campus, it's not a jail.
All right. You saw in the presentation yesterday the ratio that was presented for Montanoy, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was either 25 or 36 to 1 in Montanoy. And again, Rovindo said that was a generous figure. Now, when you're obviously in one of these pods and you have 130 inmates to 1 CO1, that's a reality that you could face every day as a CO, is it?
Every day.
Okay. And in addition to, let's talk about block F now. Is this locked down from the rest of the facility, or is there freedom of movement? How does that work out?
Yes, there's freedom of movement. Do you want me to take you through some of the movement
Well,
through the day, or?
if I'm in block F and I'm working as a CO1 in my pod with 130 inmates, they have access to that whole pod at all times, correct? On the day shift or the middle shift?
Yeah, basically anytime between 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, they're pretty much out and about.
But but an inmate is not allowed just to walk from block F to the yard at any given time.
No, there's designated times to go to the yard.
So those 260 inmates are in block F without freedom of movement most of the time out of that block.
Yes.
But there are what you refer to as major line movements. What's a major line movement?
Major line movement is basically, if they're going to go, we call it main line. That's where we feed the inmates. So basically, we'll just make an all-call, main line out. And the inmates it's a general line movement where they can just go to the kitchen. There's officers posted on the walks, just in case something happens. There's yard movement,